Hey, Kai Sheehy with Crossview Realty, and I just have a couple of things that I wanted to share with you about Hometown Heroes that's getting ready here in Florida to roll out and fund on August 18th of 2025. First, let's talk about who's eligible. We've got about 50 different essential roles or positions in a career that qualify. Full-time heroes like teachers, nurses, child care workers qualify, and of course military and veterans also qualify. There is a first-time homebuyer rule. You need to have not bought in a home in the last 3 years, except for if you're military. If you're active duty, you're exempt from that requirement. So how much money are we talking here? Essentially, we're talking 5% of purchase price. That could be up to $35,000, which is the max. You can use it towards down payment assistance or even closing costs. Essentially, where this money comes from is a fund that the state has, and once it's gone, it's gone. And then what they hope is that it'll get repaid back, because listen, this isn't free money. So when you decide to sell your home, you're going to have to pay back what you were given by Hometown Heroes, and that essentially refunds the Hometown Heroes program so that it can be used for other families. So when you're buying a home, it's very important to think about, okay, how much equity am I going to be able to accrue in the time that I own it? If you are only going to be living in the house for 3 years, like most military might consider only being in a house for that long, then there is a good chance that when it comes time to sell your home, between what it costs to list and commissions and all of that, you might not have enough equity to pay it back. And that would be something that could be detrimental. So this tool, while really, really, really important for the people who are looking to use it, but for military, buyer beware. I want to really drive home that your agent should be encouraging you to really take a look at how long you intend on being in this house. So I recommend this program to my buyers who are getting ready to retire. This house seems like something they're going to be in for 5 to 10 years, not the typical military push of 3 to 5. We are seeing in this current market that people bought way at the height in 2021 and 2022, and they were going above and beyond to be the winning buyer for a house. And that could mean over asking, that could mean appraisal gaps, that could mean waiving inspections. And then once they get into the home, it has needs that they then put themselves in a financial situation for to pay off. In those cases, when they come to me now, 2025, 3-4 years later, and they want to sell and they have Hometown Heroes on it, they don't have the equity, and then they can't pay that back, and then they really can't afford to sell their house. On top of understanding that little piece, you also need to understand the different requirements as far as income and credit score. Not all credit scores are created equal, but specifically FICO score, they do want you to have a minimum of 640. If you are looking for a home that might be a manufactured home on a big piece of property, they do want your credit score to be even higher on that. Also, to qualify, you might need to take a first-time home buyers seminar or a course or an online virtual webinar type thing. It isn't always required. It is something that it's a lender that will say, hey, the state is asking you specifically to do that, or something of that nature. So don't be totally shocked if you're expected to do some type of first-time home buyer seminar. One-time use. So in your whole life, you can only use Hometown Heroes once. And essentially, it's because they want to continue to encourage new home buyers, first-time home buyers, people who have been renting for a long time and haven't really felt like they have the ability to save a type of down payment to make it happen. This will make it so that you can do this, and it's awesome, and it helps. And especially if you're going to live in it for a long time and accrue a bunch of equity, then it's something you don't even have to think about. Essentially, Hometown Heroes is great. I like to err on the side of caution because they work with a ton of military, and the turnover in homes can kind of be fast. If you intend on buying a home and doing Hometown Heroes, and your thought process or the agent that you're working with is like, oh, well, you could just keep the property. If Hometown Heroes finds out that you used Hometown Heroes, bought the house, and then a year later, 2 years later, you have to then rent it out, they will ask you to make the second mortgage due. This is for your primary residence, not for an investment. So that's something to also think about. Just because you can rent it out, and a lot of things VA wise, because VA is for your primary residence, VA loans are. So those situations make it so that if we get ultimately we get orders and we have to move, the VA is not going to make you refinance out of your VA loan before you rent it out. You can keep it in a VA loan. This has been a program that has helped over 3,000 families in the state of Florida be able to own a home, and that's an incredible thing. And a total of like $50 million has been given out to families so that they can start with a leg up and get into a home. So if you have more questions about Hometown Heroes, and if you qualify, or if it's something that you're interested in, please reach out. I have some really great connections with some awesome lenders that can help us and walk you through all the different steps, even the complicated ones. But ultimately, I want to make sure that you are 110% educated, because it sounds really great on the surface, and it can be when the tool is used properly. But I don't want to see any service members be in a situation, which I've seen in the last year. I've seen 2 who have come across a situation where they need to sell, and it wasn't something they anticipated, and now they're underwater and they can't afford to. I don't want that to be you, so let's work together to make sure that if this is something you're interested in, we do it the right way. I hope you're having a really great Tuesday, and if you need anything, let me know.